Alright, a little bit about rounding. Now, first of all, I'll just do a quick recap using my little number line here. And let's just say I'm going to put a 20 there and a 30 here. So obviously in the middle we'll expect 25 to be. And then if we're rounding, you can remember obviously that from 5 and onwards you round to the nearest, you round up, or you round to the nearest 10 that's after that number. So if I say what is 25 rounded to the nearest 10, you're going to say it's rounded to 30. And from 24 and all the bits before that, 24 will round down, so that will round down back to 20. So that's easy. It's the exact same thing with decimals. Now before I go into it, I'll just talk a little bit about decimal places. So I'm going to put a number here and I'm going to write it in terms of letters. A point, B, C, D. Now this number, even though it's written in letters, it represents a number to 3 decimal places. And when we say decimal places, we mean how many numbers after the decimal point. So for example, this number here is to 3 decimal places. And I know that because there are 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal point. I'm going to write the same number back now. A point B C, and this is a number, yes, you guessed it, to 2 decimal places, and I know that because there are 1, 2 numbers after the decimal point. And last of all, I can say A point B, and this is a number to 1 decimal place because there's just 1 number after the decimal point. So you get the idea? Let's hope you get the idea. Now let's put it into practice. Okay, here are some numbers, and we need to round these numbers to 1 decimal place. In other words, after the decimal point, you should only just have 1 number, and all of these numbers have got 2 or 3 numbers after the decimal point. Okay, so let's start rounding. Okay, so I'm going to round these. Actually, I'm going to use, because it's only approximately equal to, so I'm going to use a wavy equal sign. Okay. Okay, so let's go. Now really and truly, if I just want 1 number after the decimal point, my answer really should just be 4.7. But then that will be wrong, because if I think about this here, this number is 79. And rounding to 1 decimal place is like rounding to 1/10, which is sort of similar to rounding to the nearest 10, because it sounds the same, doesn't it? Now 79 is between 70 and 80, and that would mean that I need to round this number up to 4.8, because 79 would round to 80. If that's too much for you to take in, just think about it this way. I know I need to stop at 7. I just look at the number after. If the number after is 5 or more than 5, round my 7 up to an 8. And if it is 4 or less than 4, just keep it as 7. So here we go. Rounding this to 1 decimal place, 3 point. I just need the 4. So let's have a think. The number after the 4 is less than 5. So this is correct just as a 4. Let's do this one. This is 13 point something. It's supposed to be 13.2 to 1 decimal place. Look at the number after. The number after is less than 5, so just leave it as a 2, and we're happy with that. And again, the next one should be 12.2. Look at this, so I just want this to 2, because I only want 1 decimal place. Look at the number after, it's bigger than 5, and if it's bigger than 5, or it is 5, I round up to the next number, so this should really be 12.3. So all of these numbers have been rounded to 1 decimal place. Alright, now let's move on to somewhere we round to more decimal places, 2 and 3 decimal places, and see how that works out. With these questions, we need to round to 2 decimal places. That's what I've got written over here. I need to round them to 2 decimal places. So let's have a look and see. 2 decimal places means I just really want 0.47, just 2 numbers after the decimal point. But I look at the number after. If it is less than 5, so 2.47 is okay. All right. You have a think about these other 2 ones here. You can pause the video and see if you get the right answer first. Alright, I'll just jump straight into the answer now. So 2 decimal places means I want those 2 numbers there. So 6.47. So there's my 4 and there's my 7. Look at the number after. It's less than 5, so I leave it as that. Okay. 8 point, I just want those 2 numbers, 6, 4, but look at the number after, it is bigger than 5, and once it's bigger than 5, I have to round this 4 to a 5. And this is now complete. You can do the same thing with 3 decimal places, 4 decimal places, it doesn't matter, but that's generally how you do it. I hope this was understandable to you guys. Have a go rounding some numbers on your own.